Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So as I was saying, the speaker had some technical issue. So she's going to join very soon. Today's speaker is Shubhangi Radhika Devidasi Mataji. She has taken the sessions earlier also, disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. So meantime, till the time she joins, let us dive in what we have done few weeks back. Any take home from last session? Devotees, if you all want to share with me. The 9 chapters, 9 shlokas that were done by the last speaker. Anybody? So we are on the 6th canto, 17th chapter, wherein Mother Parvati curses Chitraketu. So what was the learning from this? Anyone?
Mataji, can I say?
Yes, please. Solimani Mataji, yes.
When Krishna wanted Chitraketu to come sooner, so he arranged that he laughs at Lord Shiva and Parvati. So I think the take home for me is that every action or everything that happens, we must understand that it's through Krishna's intervention, good or bad. So when the bad happens, it's for rectification, for us, purification. And if something good happens, then it's our karma, our mercy, or not karma, but our Krishna's mercy on us. So even though there was no reason for Chitraketu to laugh, it was all by the arrangement of the Lord.
Jai, beautiful. So our learning is the will of Lord is topmost. Am I right, Mataji?
Absolutely, Mataji.
Because good and bad are the terms of this planet. But from the point of view of Lord, everything is for good and everything is good, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, I think we have completed the chapter. Aren't we in the 18th chapter, Mataji? Could you please double check it? Because I have marked.
Okay. We are on the 10th, 17th, yes.
Yes, we are on the 17th chapter, Mataji.
Yeah, 9 verse
Yes.
number 9.
Verse 9 was over, and today the speaker will start with the 10th. Yeah? Yeah? Okay.
Okay, so, Mataji, I marked it. Okay.
Okay, no issues, no issues. Okay, so this was well said by Solimani Mataji, that the will of Lord is topmost. And I was trying to say that the terminology of understanding the good and bad is only pertains to the Bhumandal, where from the point of view of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from Goloka Vrindavan point of view, everything is for good. The example that we can resemble is when a baby, infant baby is not well, or sick. So we, as mother, we take to the doctor, and doctor will say immediately I need to give injection and all that. So the mother's heart is, paining much before the doctor is even giving the injection. And I don't know how many of you must have experienced, but I was always being thrown outside. The nurse will say, please, you go. Looking at you, the child is crying more and the doctor is going to have problem. So I was always thrown out, and I would stand outside and hear my child crying like anything, So, and the nurse will hold tight, and then they will give injection. So do we feel, oh, this treatment is so bad, but that is for the good. That is for the child's good health. So same way, whatever Lord does, it is for our good. And he is more eager to take us back to him, and that is our original position. This is what we are trying to learn from every aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. So that was, that's the reason sarcastically, Chitraketu is laughing. And then we see till the 9th shloka, it says how the dealing of, of Lord Shiva, because he was a pure devotee. He would not say anything about that also. But there has to be a reason. So that's how Mother Parvati, gets agitated and she's cursing. And then as a pure devotee, how Chitraketu, by joining hands, he's accepting whatever Mother Parvati has said as blessings. Yeah. And now our speaker has arrived. Shubhangi Devidasi Mataji is here. Shubhangi Radha Devidasi Mataji. And she's going to take us through shloka, as I said, 6th canto, 17th chapter, 10th onwards. Welcome, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So, Mataji, no problem. So, you can take 10 extra minutes. Yeah. We are done with the opening prayer and the recap. So, you can speak it. So, you're going to share the screen. I will just make you co-host, Mataji.
Yeah, 1 minute, Mataji. Just true.
So the moment I leave, I will make you host, Mataji. Yeah.
Sure.
Anybody else can help Mataji for support who is joined by their laptop?
No, it's okay. I'll do the sharing, Mataji. 1 minute, I'll take up.
Yes.
Hope it's visible, right?
It's visible. It's visible, Mataji. Mataji, shloka number 6th canto.
Yeah, I'll go. 1 minute. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. 6th
I
canto.
was in the other session.
Yeah. 6th canto, 17th chapter, shloka number 10 onwards.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna to all. Please accept my humble obeisances. Sorry for the delay. So, anyway, Madhati has recapped the things, whatever we have done before. Now we are in the 10th verse. Parvati curses Chitraketu. So let us move on to today's sloka, 6.17.10. Yityatat virya vidushim bruvane bahvashobhanam rushaha devi drishtaya nirjitam abhimanine. Can anyone read the translation, please?
Shall I, Mataji?
Yeah, Sindhu Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, pranams, Mataji. 6.17.10. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Not knowing the prowess of Lord Shiva and Parvati, Chitraketu strongly criticized them. His statements were not at all pleasing, and therefore the goddess Parvati, being very angry, spoke as follows to Chitraketu, who thought himself better than Lord Shiva in controlling the senses. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, could you read the purport also, please?
Yes, no. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport: although Chitraketu never meant to insult Lord Shiva, he should not have criticized the Lord, even though the Lord was transgressing social customs. It is said, Teji Yasham na doshaya. One who is very powerful should be understood to be faultless. For example, one should not find faults with the sun, although it evaporates urine from the street. The most powerful cannot be criticized by an ordinary man or even by a great personality. Chitraketu should have known that Lord Shiva, although sitting in that way, was not to be criticized. The difficulty was that Chitraketu, having become a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, Sankarshana, was somewhat proud at having achieved Lord Sankarshana's favor and therefore thought that he could now criticize anyone, even Lord Shiva. This kind of pride in a devotee is never tolerated. A Vaishnava should always remain very humble and meek and offer respects to others. Trinad api sunichena taror api sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada harihi. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. A Vaishnava should not try to minimize anyone else's position. It is better to remain humble and meek and chant the Hare Krishna mantra. The word Nirjitatmabhimanine indicates that Chitraketu thought himself a better controller of the senses than Lord Shiva, although actually he was not. Because of all these considerations, Mother Parvati was somewhat angry at Chitraketu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you.
So, here, can anyone say what Chitraketu told about them, about Lord Shiva and Parvati? Why Parvati got angry? What he told about them? Can
Hare
anyone
Krishna
say?
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Chitraketu Maharaj was a great friend of Shiva.
Yeah.
So he was wondering how Shiva was teaching about detachment to all the saintly people, but with his wife, Mother Parvati, sitting on his lap. So, and we also read that the common man might follow
Etiquette.
his etiquette. So
Yeah.
he was indirectly telling his friend Shiva not to do like that, I think. Not touch. Is it okay, Mataji?
Yeah, thank you, Mati. Thank you for this. So, is there any wrong in saying like this? So, what is given in the purport? Is it wrong? As a friend, he told, like, because he considered Lord Shiva as a very close person and he's a great Vaishnava. So, what is wrong in this? Why Parvati got angry? So, in the purport, it is given that Vaishnava, Aparat, he is a great Vaishnava. Lord Shiva is a great Vaishnava. So, for everything, there is a time, place, and circumstances. Okay, in front of all the saintly persons, Lord Shiva is sitting with Parvati like that. It doesn't mean that he doesn't know the ethic. So, that actually, as a Vaishnava, see in the Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter also, there are various ways of speech is given. That is speech in the mode of goodness, speech in the mode of passion, and speech in the mode of ignorance. So the mode of passion means if we feel that, can anyone say what is the difference between mode of goodness and mode of passion in speech? Any guess? What is the difference?
Mode of goodness always speaking pleasing, truthful, and
Not be pleasing?
pleasing.
Okay.
Pleasing to
Should be-
others, truthful, and whereas passion, they may speak harsh words which are not pleasing to the others, even though it is truthful.
Yes. Thank you, Madhi. Very nice. Yeah. That is the exact meaning of speech in mode of goodness and speech in mode of passion. So here Chitraketu, he, even though he is actually very close to Lord Shiva and he knows about his position, still in the public, in front of all the saintly persons, his behavior towards Lord Shiva and Parvati was not perfect because through his behavior, he actually unknowingly hurted Parvati. Shiva, he was such a great Vaishnava, he won't actually offended by these types of actions and all, but Parvati got very much offended. So that's why she got angry. So here the main point we have to learn is we should be very humble. Humble in the sense, here Chitraketu thought that, okay, I am also in the same level of Lord Shiva. So I can speak frankly about, even though he feels that that is not the right way of actually right behavior about Lord Shiva, but he should not actually speak or act in front of all the saintly persons and he should not actually react directly to them. So that is the main aparat he has done. So here it is given that in the purport, Chitraketu should have known that Lord Shiva, although sitting in that way, was not to be criticized. That is important. He should not actually said or behave in front of all those saintly people. So we should be very much taken care, even though if they not behaved very properly in front of others, even our senior devotees or any great Vaishnavas, because in our eyes, through our imperfect senses, we cannot understand their mood. Okay, the mood is important, the inner consciousness is important. Maybe outwardly their actions may be looking different to us because of our imperfect senses, but immediately we should not actually advise or criticize anybody. So that is important. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in Siksashtakam, Trinatapi Sunichena, one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw. If we always feel that we are not eligible to speak, we are not eligible to talk in front of the senior Vaishnavas, then we will automatically control our senses. We will feel that by seeing those actions, by actually hearing those speeches, we will come to know that, okay, as we are very much actually lower than the other person, we really not understand what they are speaking and why they are behaving like this. That should be our mentality. So that is the real etiquette. So here it is given that we should be very conscious about our speech and action. Okay. So any questions in this? Shall we move on to the next one? 17.11 Shri Parvati Uvacha Ayam Kim Aduna Loke Sashtadantadara Prabhu Asmat Vithanam Dushtanam Nirlajanam cha Viprakrit. Sudhamarji, could you read the translation, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I'm audible?
Yeah, Mataji, clear.
Okay. Shri Parvati Uvacha Ayam Kim Aduna Loke Shasta Danda Dara Prabhu Asmad Vidunam Dushtanam Nirlajjanam cha Viprakrit. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The goddess Parvati said, Alas, has this upstart now received a post from which to punish shameless persons like us? Has he been appointed ruler, carrier of the rod of punishment? Is he now the only master of everything? Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So, in the angry mood, Parvati is actually saying these verses. Let us continue with the next verse, then we will discuss about that. We'll move on to the next sloka, 17.12. Na veda dharmam kila badmayoni na brahmaputra bhrihunaradadyah na vaikumara kapilo manushcha yeno nishedantyativartinam haram. Can one of read the translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I read?
Yeah, Mataji, please.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Alas, Lord Brahma, who has taken his birth from the lotus flower, does not know the principles of religion, nor do the great saints like Bhrigu and Narada, nor the four Kumaras headed by Sanat Kumara. Manu and Kapila have also forgotten the religious principles. I suppose it to be because of this that they have not tried to stop Lord Shiva from behaving improperly. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So, she actually, from her words, what she is trying to say, from Parvati's words, all the saintly persons are there in front of them, like Lord Brahma and other saintly persons are in front of them. If he is really misbehaving, then they would have told him, no, directly, because Lord Brahma is anyway, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are how they are related. What is the relationship between Brahma and Shiva? Lord Shiva born from Brahma, right?
Yeah.
So they have father-son relation. So Lord Brahma is actually very much eligible in the age-wise as well as he's a senior-most person. So he can actually, if he misbehaved properly in front of others, surely he will actually guide him nicely. But they didn't say anything about their behavior. Okay, so she was actually lamenting like that. Let us continue with the next one. Text 13. एषाम् अनुध्येयपदाब्जयुग्मं जगद्गुरुं मङ्गलमङ्गलं स्वयं यक्षत्रबन्धुः परिभूय सूरिन् प्रशास्ति दृष्टस्तदयं हि दन्द्यः. Krishnamurti Prabhu, could you read the translation, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Pranams, Prabhu.
Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. This Chitraketu is the lowest of Kshatriyas, for he has impudently overridden Brahma and the other demigods by insulting Lord Shiva, upon whose lotus feet they always meditate. Lord Shiva is personified religion and the spiritual master of the entire world, and therefore Chitraketu must be punished. Shall I read purport, Mataji?
Yeah, Prabhu, please.
Purport by A.C. Prabhupada ki jai. All the members of the assembly were exalted Brahmanas and self-realized souls, but they did not say anything about the conduct of the Lord Shiva, who was embracing the goddess Parvati on his lap. Chitraketu nonetheless criticized Lord Shiva, and therefore the option of Parvati was that he should be punished. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, the another noticeable thing in this, whenever we are going to talk or speak or going to criticize or advise others, first we should check about the circumstances. That is important. So here, Lord Parvati, Lord Shiva and Parvati are sitting in that posture, and he is actually speaking in front of other saintly people. So when you notice the crowd here, here Parvati is saying that lot of saintly persons and Brahmanas are there. So they didn't say any word about their behavior. So who is Chitraketu? Compared to those persons, we cannot actually compare even the position of Chitraketu with other highly elevated personalities. So in front of other senior members or highly elevated persons or transcendental persons, we should not actually speak unnecessarily. That is important. Even if we know the subject matter, we should not actually speak in front of others. That is the Vaishnava etiquette. So here he didn't actually know about the basic principle. Who? Chitraketu. So even though the position or behavior, the principle is given that we should be like this, we should follow certain rules and regulations. So even can we actually relate this with one of the incident with the Balrama? Like Lord Balrama, when he went for pilgrimage, that time he went to Naimisharanya. So in Naimisharanya, who was in the Vyasasan? Can anyone say? Because Balram Purnima, tomorrow is Balram Purnima. So let us relate this subject matter with that one. So the person who was sitting in Vyasasana, can anyone say who was that?
Roma Archana Mataji.
Roma Harshana, yes. Thank you, Bharti. Very good. So Roma Harshana was sitting in Vyasasan. When actually Balram was visited that place, all the saintly persons, they gave respect to Balrama. They bowed down, they paid obeisances to Balrama. But actually, those who are sitting in the Vyasasan, they need not to actually bow down. But since Balrama, he is actually God himself, when he was visiting, but Roma Harshana didn't pay obeisance. So what is it? What happened to him later? Balrama? What happened to Roma Karshana?
He killed him, no, Mataji.
Yeah, he killed him. So the reason why he killed him? 1 minute, Mataji. Sorry, Marji. So okay. So Lord Balrama killed Romaharshana. Okay. So what is the reason why he killed?
Because he did not pay obeisance. Lord Balarama is Supreme Personality of God himself.
Yeah. Hmm.
So even though he was sitting in Vyasasana, he should have paid obeisance to the Lord.
When Lord Balrama reached, he didn't get up and didn't think to give him respect. And he
Yes.
was sitting and thinking about like he is superior than him.
Because he was sitting in the Vyasasana, he thought that he is not actually give proper respect to others. He need not to give proper respect to others because he is in the Vyasasana means that person is equal to Vyasa. So he doesn't need to show obeisances. That was his mood. So as the Lord, he is residing as Paramatma, he knows the mood of each person. So he actually doesn't expect any respect from others. Okay, so when he actually descended as Nityananda Prabhu, even the Jagai and Madai story we all know, they didn't give proper respect. They insulted Nityananda Prabhu, but he actually showered mercy to them. So like that, God actually God didn't expect any respect from us, but He knows our mood very well. Okay, so here the mood of that person, Romaharshana's mood was actually not right. Like he was thinking that he need not to pay obeisances. But if in the mind, if he actually pay respect to Lord Balrama, it won't be happen. So it would not be happen. But anyway, so the mood is important and the behavior is important based on the circumstances. So that sattvic guna will help us to, and these Vaishnava principles, all these things will help us to progress in our devotional life. So when we are actually practicing these devotional activities in our life, we should be very much conscious about these Vaishnava principles. Okay, so means the humbleness, the way to speak. Okay, then how to act in front of other senior most persons, and these things are very much important. If you are offending any Vaishnava, then we all know the other related story about Ambarish Maharaj and Durva, not Durva, Durvasa Muni. Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Okay, when Durvasa Muni offended Ambarish Maharaj, what happened? Ambarish Maharaj actually tolerated all those things, but the Lord won't tolerate any offense about the Vaishnavas. So it will actually the stumbling block for our devotional life. It is a stumbling block. So it will actually degrade our position also. Means our advancement will be blocked and it will degrade our position also, and the person will fall down from the devotional path. So we should be very much careful while speaking and while behaving, while talking about others. The Vaishnava etiquette is given. There is a separate book for this. So here Chitraketu, even though he actually understood the position, like he knows very well about the temporary position of this material world, and he knows about their superiority, but still it happened to him. Okay, so here Parvati is ready to curse because she was very much hurted by his behavior. Parvati was very much hurted by his behavior. So that is not the right attitude. We should very much conscious about our speech, as I keep on saying that it should not hurt the other persons. Even though what we are saying may be right. Maybe we are actually thinking that we are actually trying to correct that person. But the way how we are speaking is very much important. It should not actually hurt the other person. Okay. So any comments, any additional points, any questions related to this?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Mataji, is there any significance? Lord Shiva was sitting like that with Mother Parvati and his lap, Mataji.
Okay.
What do we learn from that, Mataji?
Sorry, how do you?
What can we learn from Lord Shiva sitting with Mother Parvati on his lap, Mataji?
See, he is a very renounced person. Okay, even though when he
Yes.
was doing meditation, when Kama, when he was actually trying to distract his meditation, he got angry, right? He cursed him. So he was such a controlled person, self-controlled person. And in front of the saintly persons, he is sitting in the sense they won't actually give importance to bodily manner. Like we may actually follow this stable manner, this bodily behavior and all, but they are not in a mood to actually think about it. He is not in a mood to think about it. So they were actually sitting in the normal position. We can say that is a normal position for them, but based on our eyes, based on our vision, it may be wrong to us. See, when we are actually discussing about Rasa Leela, so when any normal person when he get the chance to hear about this Rasa Leela, what will be come into their mind? What will come into their mind? The Rasa Leela dance about Lord Krishna and the gopis. How they will feel?
About the
What is
mundane world, they will
yeah.
think
Think
about
about
the
this material
material.
world, yeah.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
So the same thing was the realization of Chitraketu. Why he is behaving like this? Because his vision is different. Because for them it's a normal behavior. Why she is sitting on her lap? That is their mood. So
Or,
that is their normal behavior.
yeah.
They are
Or is
actually
it,
yeah.
Mataji? So I was thinking he's trying to teach us that even within the family, even though wife is sitting, I am detached like that. He wanted to teach the assembly, Mataji.
Yeah, because no, in the assembly, everybody knows he doesn't want to actually prove them that I am such a renounced person, even though she is sitting on my lap. He doesn't want to actually, he need not to prove his renounced mood to others, because everybody knows about Lord Shiva.
Yes, okay, Mataji.
So they are actually very well. That's why they didn't speak anything wrong about them and their behavior. That's
Okay.
what actually Parvati got hurted. See, if she knows the mood of other persons, those who are sitting in front of them, that's why she is also not actually shy to sit in front of others. That also we have to say, no.
Yes,
Okay,
Mataji.
he is very renounced person, so he allowed her to sit on his lap. That is fine. What about her mood? As a woman, could we
Yes.
behave like that? Is it
No,
a right way to do so? No. But they are in the elevated position. Their mood is totally different. Even she is also not think about it. Wow, oh, in front of other saintly persons, how can I sit on my husband's lap? She didn't think about it. So their discussion was totally different. They were in a different mood. So that's what, without understanding their inner consciousness, we should not actually speak any words about them. That is not the right way. And it
okay.
doesn't mean that we can also imitate like that. That is very much important. We should not
Yes.
imitate like others. Okay, Parvati was actually sitting on herself, so we can actually do whatever in the public in front of us, because we are in the this level of devotional life. So we can do like that because mentally we are very much detached, very much in the renounced mode. No, there are certain niyamas, rules and regulations are given to us. That's what the Vaishnava principles are very much important. We should follow the rules and regulations given to us. Manu Samhita is given. Why? This is for Manus, mankind. So we have to follow the rules and regulations given to us. Okay, is it applicable to all the living entities? No. It is specifically mentioned that it is for human. So there are certain rules and regulations given to each living entity. Isha
Okay.
Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. There is a quota for everybody. So we
Yes,
have to follow according to our prescribed rules and regulations given to us. Okay.
Or maybe it's just a pastime.
Yeah, it is a pastime. For actually, through this pastime, we are actually getting the lesson that whatever position we are in, we should not sarvopadi vinir muktam tatparatvena nirmalam. We should not think about that, okay, now I am elevated level, so I can do anything. I am actually, 1 minute, Madhati, just somebody is ringing the bell. Sorry for the disturbance. Sorry, madam. We should not actually think about our position. And in the other way, we should always actually humbler than the grass in the road. Trinatapi sunichena. That should be the mood of the Vaishnava. If we really want to become a Vaishnava, we should develop that mood. Okay?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Dandavad.
Pranams. So let us move on to the next sloka. 14. Nayam arhati vaikuntham padamulopasarpanam sambhavidamati sadhubi paripashitam. Batma Mataji, could you read the translation and purport, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. This person is puffed up because of his achievements, thinking, I am the best. He does not deserve to approach the shelter of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, which are worshipped by all saintly persons, for he is imprudent, thinking himself greatly important. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Could you read the purport also?
Okay, Mataji. Can you please scroll up?
Yeah, Maj. Yes.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. If a devotee thinks that he is very much advanced in a devotional service, he is considered puffed up and unfit to sit beneath the shelter of Lord's lotus feet. Again, this instruction by Lord Chaitanya is applicable. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant. Can you please, Karala? In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Unless one is humble and meek, one cannot qualify to sit at the lotus feet of the Lord. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. The purpose of the human life is back home, back to Godhead. So, here the two qualities are important. Devoid of all sense of false prestige. So, what is a symptom of false prestige? What is a symptom? I and mine. These are the two main symptoms. I am so and so. I am eligible to preach others. I am eligible to speak about them. I and mine. So these are two main symptoms of false prestige. Okay. So devoid of sense of false prestige is important. And the other thing, ready to offer all respect to others. Humbleness. We should consider ourselves always lower than the straw in the street. So that is very important. And these two are the very important quality to advance in our spiritual life. These two qualities are very much needed. Okay. So let us move on to the next sloka, 15. Atappapiyasim yonim asurim yahi durmate Yateha bhuyo mahatam na karta putra kilvisham. Divya Mataji, could you read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O impudent one, my dear son, now take birth in a low sinful family of demons so that you will not commit such an offense again towards exalted saintly persons in this world. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One should be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, of whom Lord Shiva is the best. While instructing Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava as Hatimati, a mad elephant. When a mad elephant enters a nice garden, it spoils the entire garden. Similarly, one becomes like a mad elephant and commits offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, his entire spiritual career is halted. One should therefore be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of Vaishnava. Mother Parvati was justified in punishing Chitraketu, for Chitraketu impudently criticized the Supreme Father, Mahadeva, who is the father of the living entities conditioned within this material world. The goddess Durga is called Mother and Lord Shiva is called Father. A pure Vaishnava should be very careful to engage in his specific duty without criticizing others. This is the safest position. Otherwise, if one tends to criticize others, he may commit the great offense of criticizing a Vaishnava. Because Chitraketu was undoubtedly a Vaishnava, he might have been surprised that Parvati had cursed him. Therefore, the goddess Parvati addressed him as Putra or son. Everyone is the son of Mother Durga, but she is not an ordinary mother. As soon as there is a small discrepancy in a demon's behavior, Mother Durga immediately punishes the demon so that he may come to his senses. This is explained by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Daivihi esha gunamai mama maya duratyeya mam eva e prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. To surrender to Krishna means to surrender to his devotees also, for no one can be a proper servant of Krishna unless he is a proper servant of a devotee. Jadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Paye Keba. Without serving a servant of Krishna, one cannot be elevated to becoming a servant of Krishna himself. Therefore, Mother Parvati spoke to Chitraketu exactly like a mother who says to her naughty child, "My dear child, I am punishing you so that you won't do anything like this again." This tendency of a mother to punish her child is found even in Mother Yashoda, who became the mother of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mother Yashoda punished Krishna by binding him and showing him a stick. Thus, it is the duty of a mother to chastise her beloved son, even in the case of Supreme Lord. It is to be understood that Mother Durga was justified in punishing Chitraketu. This punishment was a boon to Chitraketu because after taking birth as a demon Vratasura, he was promoted directly to Vaikuntha. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is such a nice description in the purport. It is clearly mentioned that why he got cursed. See, whatever happened to the devotee, it is good for him only. So we should not actually, even though he actually elevated to the higher position, like Chitraketu elevated to the higher position, he got cursed from Mother Parvati. So what will be the status of us? So we should not actually think in the other way. So it is good for him only. So it is nicely given that she is actually the mother for all. Who? Parvati is a mother for all. So if she is actually giving curse or is giving punishment to her own son, means it is good for the son only. So the example given here is very nice example, Yashodamaya and Lord Sri Krishna. So Lord Yashodamaya wants to punish her child, no? So he wants to actually bind him with the wooden mortar. Similarly here, she is actually justifying her punishment. Whatever she is actually giving the punishment, whatever the curse she is going to give is actually good for him only. It really actually happened. There is a lot of actually turns in his life, no, after he becomes Britasura. Okay, and the other important thing is Daivihi Esha Gunamayi. See, we actually discussed about the sattvic speech, the sattvic actions, like the mode of activity, the modes, how much the modes are actually affecting or influencing the person. Okay, because of the influence of the modes, even though a same person, sometimes they are actually behaving unknowingly like a mad elephant. The other example given is mad elephant. The mad elephant will do, after taking birth, it will actually put the sand on his body. So similarly, the Vaishnavas, even though actually they want to serve the Lord nicely, they want to progress in their devotional life, but unknowingly, because of the influence of these modes, that goodness and passion and ignorance, because of the influence, they may actually sometimes make mistakes. So it will actually make them to fall down. But name bhakta pranashyati, the guarantee is given by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita. So even though actually they fall down, surely the Lord will actually protect them. That is proven in his life, Chitraketu's life. Okay, even though he fall down as Asura, but he got the very great boon from the Lord. So, Daivihi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. How can we actually get out from these influences of these three modes? These three modes are very powerful. It was created by the Lord. So, they have so much potency. Means the Maya is so powerful. It will actually try to test the person in various ways. So, going back home is not a easier thing. See, by actually seeing this history, you will come to know that going back home is not that much easier thing. So, without surrendering to the Lord, without His mercy, we cannot achieve our goal. Mama Maya Duratyaya, that is His own Maya. It is created by the Lord only. Mam Yeva Ye Prapatyante, without surrendering to the Lord. If we surrender to the Lord, Maya Yetam Taratite, then this Maya will be very easy to cross over. So that is important. Surrendering to the Lord. So how can we surrender to the Lord? What does it mean? What we have to do?
Take shelter of our Guru Maharaj.
Sorry, Mataji.
Take shelter of our Guru Maharaj first.
Yes, okay, very nice.
Mataji, the 6 limbs of Sharanagati we have to follow, Mataji.
Can you say
Chanting, Mataji. Chanting and associating with devotees.
Okay, fine.
Chanting, reading
Okay.
Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita.
Means
Prasadam.
okay.
Chanting Hare Krishna mantra.
Yes, Mataji. Sindhumaji, do you want to say something?
Yes, Mataji, that we have already seen A, B, C, D, E. And also in the first chapter, we have seen Anukulasya Sankalpaha, Pratikulasya Varjanam.
Okay. All those mood will come by actually serving the Vaishnavas. So serving the Vaishnavas are very, very important factor that will actually help us to advance in our devotional life. That will protect us to fall down by actually facing all these challenges in our life. All the stages we have to cross over. So serving the Vaishnavas is important. Okay. Who is a Vaishnava? Next question will come. Okay, we have to serve the Vaishnavas. Who is a Vaishnava then? Who is a Vaishnava?
One who is above Brahmana.
Okay.
One who is a devotee of Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Mataji.
Okay. So actually, yeah, Vaishnava status is higher than the Brahmana. It is mentioned in the Shastras. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, if a person is chanting at least one round, if he is chanting the name of the Lord, then we have to consider that person as a Vaishnava. It doesn't mean that, okay, he is following all the regulatory principles, he is actually doing a lot of austerity. So then only we can actually say, yeah, that is the real qualification. But in the opposite side, we have to actually, if a person is actually chanting the holy name of the Lord, then we have to consider that person as a Vaishnava. So, so what does it mean? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunichaiva Spapakesha Pandita Samadarshinaga. If you are really the learned person, means you should actually consider everybody equal. Sunichaiva Spapakesha Pandidaga Samadarshinaga. So we should actually treat everybody equally. Means controlling our tongue is important. Controlling our behavior is important. Okay, he is not a spiritual person, so we can say anything. No. It is actually try to be righteous. There is also the Vaishnava quality. The Amanitvam, Madampitvam. Lot of Brahmanical qualities are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Everything is given in the Bhagavad Gita. So if we really want to develop those qualities, we should actually strong in our sadhanas. In order to maintain the quality of our sadhana, we have to serve the Vaishnavas. The dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnava is so powerful. It purifies our consciousness. So who is a Vaishnava? Whoever actually in this path, in the devotional path, even though they are chanting the Nama, holy name, they are actually, we have to consider them as a Vaishnava, and we should do the service to everybody. And we should treat them everybody equally. This should be our consciousness. Okay. Any comments? Shall we move on to the last sloka? Sorry for the delay. Let us finish this one. 17.16. Shri Sukha Uvacha Evam Shabdaschitraketu Vimana Tavaruhya Saka Prashadayamasa Satim Mudna Namrena Bharata. Yeah, Archana Madhi, could you read the translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation. Sri Sukadev Goswami continued, My dear King Parikshit, when Chitraketu was cursed by Parvati, he descended from his airplane, bowed before her with great humility, and pleased her completely. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you. This is the mood of the Vaishnava. Even though he was cursed by Mother Parvati, he immediately accepted the curse. And before he bowed before her with great humility and pleased her completely. By his behavior, even when in the beginning, Parvati Devi was very much angry. Okay, but now by his behavior, he is actually trying to please her. So that is important. And can any one of you say, is there any other example related to this pastime? Like even though they got cursed,
Like
they
Parikshit agreed.
yeah.
He
Whole
cursed.
Bhagavatam started with that pastime only. When Parishit Maharaj got cursed from that Brahmana boy, he immediately accepted the curse and he started actually doing what he has to do, the next step. What is the next step? So he started preparing the next stage for his leaving. So this is the quality of your Vaishnava. So even though the modes actually influenced our action, we should actually take everything, okay, this is God's grace. Whatever is happening to us, this is all by the grace of the Lord. Surely, Name Bhakta Pranashyadi, the guarantee is given by the Lord to every one of us. So whatever is happening in the devotee life is all by the grace of the Lord. Surely it will take them to the next step, next higher stage one day. So it happened to Chitraketu's life. Even though he got cursed by Parvati Devi, he got a great boon after that, no? Itasura. So this is a lesson and main points we have to learn. So from today's reading, what is the essential points we have to actually take out from our life, what we have to follow? What are the main points?
Hare Krishna Mataji, actually yesterday's lesson, we heard that the Lord had arranged, he wanted Chitraketu Maharaj to come to his abode very fast. So he had arranged like this, Mataji.
Yes.
We read yesterday like that.
Yeah, that's what. Whatever happened in the devotee's life, we have to understand that this is all happening by the grace of the Lord.
For our good.
Yes,
Okay.
for our good only.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji. May I answer your question, Mataji?
Yeah, yes.
Today's points, we should not criticize a senior before many people. Then even though we know everything about what is going to happen or what is the content, we are not supposed to open our mouth unnecessarily. Then we should speak only what is needed in front of senior devotees. We have to respect them. So these are the points, Mataji, that I have answered on. Thank you, Mataji.
We should not criticize the senior devotees at any time, at any cost, at any circumstances. It doesn't mean that not only in the public, so in the back we can actually speak them or talk like that. No. The humbleness is very much needed. Should approach a person tatvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. We should actually approach the person in a humble way and ask questions in a humble way, submissive way. That is important. Okay. Thank you so much. Any points to add? Any additional comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Modes of passion, goodness, ignorance, Mataji. The speech should be pleasing and not. But in this case, Chitraketu's case, it was like it was very rude, no? He was criticizing. So
yes.
And also he was thinking,
Yes, Mataji.
He was thinking himself better than Lord Shiva. So
yes,
that one point to add, Mataji.
Because of mode of passion.
Yeah.
Influence of false ego. He thought that, okay, he is better than Lord Shiva. Many times the people used to think, no, Mataji, Janmaishwarya Shruta Shri means if we have some, if we reach some particular position, then we are thinking that, oh, I am actually better than that person.
Yes, Mataji.
That mentality will come.
And also interesting point, Mataji, how he was actually, after taking birth as a demon, he was promoted directly to Vaikuntha, because even this was actually good for him. You know, the Lord has done only good for him. Yes. So that is a lesson to be noted here. Like how a mother punishes the child without any...
Good for them.
Yeah, for good for him. So
yes,
that point.
The curse was taken by him in the right way. Even that's what Name Bhakta Pranishadi. That is the ultimate lesson for everybody. So we are in the right path. So whatever is happened, if we have a strong faith on the Lord, so we will accept everything as it is. Like, okay, this is good for me only. Whatever is happening is good for me only. Everything is by the mercy of the Lord. So that is the mood of a devotee. Like Parikshit Maharaj, he accepted the curse. Bharata Maharaj, he accepted that. He didn't argue with the Lord. Why it happened to me? So that is the mood of the devotee. Okay. Thank you, Mataji and Prabhus. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.